welcome to the CTech Plus Hour today on Chaos TV. Thank you so much for joining us for this financial wellbeing feature aimed at those aged 45 plus. CTech are committed to supporting this age demographic with programmes such as WorkFit and the National Careers Service.
We all need to take stock from time to time. It can be really helpful to ask ourselves, what do I want from life as I get older? Looking at your money, job and health together can mean you stay healthy, get the most from work and save to get the retirement you want. It makes sense to have control of your future, and having a midlife MOT is a good place to start.
Planning to have enough money to live on in later life really matters. It's the best way to make sure that the retirement you get is the retirement you want. If you're working, then you're probably saving into a workplace pension, which is a great way to start. But you should also get to know your state pension by finding out how much you could get and when. We can also help you work out how much you need for retirement and plan how to get you there. You can also get one-to-one advice from PensionWise to help you make sense of your options and to avoid scammers.
Whether you want to stay in the same job or make a change, you have options to help you work differently in your later life. You've gained skills and experience throughout your working life, which makes you extremely valuable to employers, and this can help open the door to many other roles. You may want to work part-time as you get older, or do something less stressful or demanding. Perhaps you have caring responsibilities and need some flexibility. Most employers can offer support, and you have a legal right to ask for flexible working too. And of course, staying in work means you keep earning and saving for your retirement, and it also contributes to your health and well-being. Contact the National Careers Service and you can get one-to-one impartial information and guidance from a professional careers advisor.
We all want to maintain good health, so it's important to take stock of everyday behaviours, especially as we get older. Our online health checks are quick, easy to use and provide advice and support to help you make small changes, whether that's being more healthy in your eating, being more active or quitting smoking. You'll get simple tips and free tools that can help you improve your health and make you feel better, and may even lower your risk of serious illness in the future, such as heart disease and some cancers. In the health section of the Midlife MOT, we also offer information on support for carers.
Planning now and making positive choices can help you get the retirement that you want.
By using the links on the online MOT, you'll get access to free, professional and independent help from people like us.
Take charge of your future by starting your Midlife MOT today.
It can be very confusing and difficult to make sense of pensions, and perhaps something you tend to keep putting off. We have a very interesting conversation coming up with Paul Fox, the Regional Manager of the Money and Pension Service, who joined me recently to discuss pensions and how best to deal with debt. Let's take a look. Today we are joined by Paul Fox, the Regional Partnership Manager for the Money and Pension Service. So Paul, let's just dive straight into it. Are pensions really worth it?
The answer to that is absolutely yes, they are. When you're younger, when you're in your 20s, perhaps your 30s, it tends to be something that's maybe not a priority and you don't think about. Certainly that was the case for me. But actually, as you start to move into adulthood, you're having a family, your career develops, it is really important that you do engage with pensions. And there's some good reasons for that financially as well. First of all, that you are likely to get some contributions from your employer towards your pension pot. You can also get some tax relief from the government, again, which contributes to your pension pot. So it's actually a very, very efficient way of building up some money.
Wonderful. And if someone was to be considering getting a pension, why is it important to take pensions guidance and advice?
Okay, well, there's several angles to look at this from. Certainly, the majority of people across the country have got some form of pension savings, either a private pension or with a company, or perhaps a public sector pension scheme. But when you come towards actually thinking about taking your pension, it's absolutely vital to take some guidance. There's several reasons for that. it's probably one of the two biggest financial decisions you will make in your life, that and taking on a mortgage. And it's not uncommon for people to be talking about tens of thousands of pounds. So taking some guidance on the thoughts of strategies, the sorts of issues you want to be thinking about is vital. Pensions are complicated animals and they need demystifying. And there are various options that the Money and Pension Service can provide to give people some independent and impartial pensions guidance.
Absolutely, that sounds wonderful. So for people who feel like retirement is a while away, why is it a good idea to start thinking about your pension now or as soon as possible?
Yeah, okay, well, one of the things that we're seeing at the moment, for example, is that once you reach 55 years old, if you've got a private pension, in the vast majority of cases, you can access some of that and take a tax-free lump. And quite a lot of people are doing that. It's a bit worrying. But pensions are a long-term investment. But it's really important that you look after them on an annual basis. Even if you think you're 10, 15 years away from retiring, it's important that you understand what are your options going to be? What sort of lifestyle do you want to have when you do actually retire? And these are big decisions, not decisions to be made in the last year or two before you retire. So the earlier you engage with your pension and the more frequently you engage, statistically, the better off you're going to be in retirement.
Oh, wonderful. That's good to know, because I would feel like someone is so I'm in my 20s. I didn't really start thinking about it. My employer puts it in. I do it through my employment, but it's great to kind of know things like that, because you do have to think about it quite far in advance, don't you? I don't know what I want to be doing when I'm at retirement age, but it's going to be nice to have the means to do whatever I want to do.
Absolutely. I'm considerably older than you. And when I was in my 20s, pensions were for old people. That was it. And I was never, ever going to be old. That was the way you thought about it. But when I cracked 50 a couple of years ago, you think, well, actually, it's a lot closer than you might believe. But pensions are overcomplicated as it is. So coming to somewhere like the Money and Pension Service allows us to help you with some independent, impartial pensions guidance to demystify them, take away some of that pensions jargon, and just help you understand some of the options that you've got so you can make the very most of your pension when you actually do finish your working life.
Absolutely. That sounds really, really helpful. Now, we're going to be diving into debt now. So if someone was struggling with debt, which bills do you think they should start off by paying first?
Okay, well, there are two types of categories that we class them into: priority and non-priority bills or debts. And that's very much focused. It doesn't matter whether you are struggling with a lot of debt or a small amount of debt. You still need to think about it. So, for example, priority debts would be things like council tax. It would be things like child maintenance, if that's something you're paying. Perhaps any court fines that you've got, your rent or your mortgage, and certainly your gas and electric. Those are going to be your priority bills. Those are going to be your priority debts, because if you stop paying those, there is going to become some form of ramification. It could be that a service is cut off. It could be that you end up with a court fine for non-payment. It could well be that, ultimately a home is repossessed or a landlord decides to pursue an eviction. Non-priority debts are those that you can push back, gym memberships, Netflix memberships, these sorts of lower priority debts that you may owe money on, but actually as a consequence of not paying them, it's less severe. So we've got a great website at the Money and Pension Service. It's called Money Helper. We've got some really good information about priority and non-priority debts and how you should think about it. And we've got a brilliant bill prioritisation tool. And I would very much recommend anybody access that if they want to learn more about this.
Absolutely. And if someone was struggling with debt, obviously they could go to your website, as you've just mentioned, but what would your guidance be?
Well, my guidance would be very simple. We know that prior to the pandemic, about 9 million households in England were over indebted or were in some form of problem debt. That is increasing quite severely at the moment. It's absolutely essential if you are struggling with debt, if you're in problem debt, to act immediately. That is the first thing. And make sure that you get some form of free, regulated, professional debt advice. The Money and Pension Service funds the great majority of free debt advice across England. It's a bit different in the devolved nations. But certainly if you are struggling with over-indebtedness, contact us at the Money and Pension Service. We can make sure that you get connected into the right debt advice organisation that can help you. There is light at the end of the tunnel with debt advice. Not necessarily easy, but there is help, and it's available and it's there and it's free for everybody.
Absolutely. It's really great that you say that it's obviously it's not easy, because it isn't. But what would you say to someone who is potentially, they're aware that they're in debt, but they're potentially a bit frightened to come forward and actually kind of accept the fact?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because debt is a taboo topic. People who are struggling with debt, a lot of them tend to bury their head in the sands. They'll max their credit card, they'll max their overdraft. If it's an option, they might go to the bank of mum and dad and borrow some money. And then and only then do about 1 in 3 people seek some professional debt advice. The thing is that people who are over indebted, a lot of them tend to feel ashamed, and they shouldn't. We've all had money troubles at some times throughout our lives. Nobody here at the Money and Pension Service will judge you. Nobody is going to make you feel ashamed. Come and talk to us. We want to support you, your family, and make that journey easier for you to navigate through. So, we want to dispel the fact that debt is a taboo topic. It's something that needs to be faced and it needs to be talked about, but you need to do it with professional help, and that's why we're here.
Absolutely. It seems the sooner you can kind of talk to someone about it, the sooner the problem's going to get solved, really.
It is, that's absolutely key, is don't delay. Many people do delay because they're embarrassed, they're ashamed, they don't want their family or friends to know that they're struggling with debt. We've all had money worries at some point in our lives, and most of us will have money worries here and there throughout the rest of our lives. So it's really important to not bury your head, acknowledge the fact that there is an issue that you need some support with, and come and turn to professionals like ourselves at Money Helper, at the Money and Pension Service, some other great debt advice organisations out there as well. Come and get some help. It's free and it's life transforming.
Fabulous. And finally, can you tell us a little bit about any other support which is available to people with the current cost of living challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. The current cost of living challenges are affecting all of us in many different ways. And it can seem overwhelming for a lot of people. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress out there at the moment regarding it. We've just launched a cost of living campaign towards the end of January, and it's a countrywide awareness campaign to make people aware that Money Helper and the Money and Pension Service provides free, independent and impartial cost of living guidance. So, for example, come and talk to us or access our digital tools about bill prioritisation, which we touched on, about things like income maximisation. Are there any benefits or grants that you or your family are perhaps missing out on that could boost your household income? What to do if you're living on a reduced income? It may well be somebody in the household has had to take a pay cut or an hour's, or a working time cut, and that's affecting lots of different things going on. Also as well, we're seeing, particularly across the southwest, a real upswing in the use of credit channels, people who are trying to make ends meet on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis, credit cards, overdraft, buy now, pay later. We've got great guidance and great resources to support you through the cost of living crisis. We won't ultimately be a silver bullet. We can't help everybody, but to find a way forward and to talk about issues and concerns people have got about cost of living challenges, that's absolutely key.
Fabulous. And just a quick reminder, where can people find this guidance?
You can find us online at www.moneyhelper.org.uk. You can also telephone us in confidence one-to-one. It's 0800 138 7777. You can also access us through different channels, including WhatsApp. If you have some physical impairments, there are other channels you can contact us through as well. Web chats, lots and lots of different ways of getting in touch with us, and it's all free, and we've got some expert people ready to help you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking me through all that, Paul. It was lovely to meet
You're
you.
more than welcome. Very
Fabulous.
nice to meet you as well. Thanks then. Bye now.
Bye.
All across the UK, people from organisations in every sector are building financial well-being for their colleagues, customers and communities. Together, we've started something.
I certainly do think that there's a link between financial, mental and physical well-being, because if you haven't got one, you haven't got the others.
It's important that people know that there is advice out there.
To ensure that people have the ability to look after their money.
You can't win the game until you know the rules of the game.
And that's why we exist, to help people find that resilience, that dignity, in order to make that complete jigsaw and complete picture for you, yourself, your community, and most of all, your family.
All across the UK, people from organisations in every sector are building financial well-being for their colleagues, customers and communities. Together, we've started something.
I certainly do think that there's a link between financial, mental and physical well-being, because if you haven't got one, you haven't got the others. If you're worried about you've not paid your rent, you've not paid your electric, you've not paid your council tax, and it's going to affect your mental health. If your mental health's affected, you're not going to want to get up in the morning, so then your physical health's affected.
We can see the benefit in helping people with their finances. We basically want people to stay in their properties and sustain their tenancies. For our tenants, we can offer quite a lot of wraparound support. So not only the financial support, but we have a support and wellbeing team, and we also have people that can help our tenants to look for work. We feel that if we can help our customers in that way and the communities that we're in, then it's a benefit to both. People in debt don't sleep. You basically can't think straight when all your mind is thinking about is the debts that you owe and the phone calls that you're receiving. So at the end of our intervention with our customers, we do see them a lot more in control of their finances, able to deal with issues. So if they get a creditor on the phone, they're able to answer the questions. So basically they're able to get their lives back under control.
Because we've got low income within the borough, people are just sort of getting by on what they earn. Residents are coming here because they just want assistance with basic necessities such as food, energy, not going hungry and keeping warm. We put them with a personalised advisor who has a tailor-made approach to support residents throughout their whole journey, from first of all reassuring them that help is at hand, whether it's through benefit entitlements or just looking at a statement and understanding that having financial well-being embedded in everybody's lives is very, very important, because it's not just about us, but it's about the next generation. If we are going to have an economy that runs itself, it runs well, then we need to ensure that people have the ability or have the resources to look after their money.
The information we're giving them, this is the difference between having a roof over their head and living out there. We work with young people from the age of 5 all the way through to the age of 25, working to make a generation of young people who are financially capable. So we run workshops and take finance into schools where there isn't any financial education. Financial education is not a sexy topic, so it's hard to sell that to young people sometimes, but once they come and they see how we work, they don't want to leave.
We are seeing an increase in domestic violence, including financial abuse. It has been difficult because we have limited refuge accommodations, but housing have come on board and their strategy prioritises women, as do our advice services. And this really empowers women. They see that it can have an impact, that they do have choices and the support is there.
Often customers come into our tenancies and they don't have the confidence to be able to make sound financial decisions. By giving them the information that our officers can, we really find that quite often they are in a far better position and also make the relevant savings that they can make from their expenditure as well. We work with quite a lot of kind of third parties. We take the information that they use through their social media channels and through their websites and provide that to our customers in a more understandable way. Yeah, I think I would definitely tell other organisations that they should take a real interest in the financial well-being of their customers. Not only is it a benefit to their customers and it's a good thing to do, but there are definitely benefits to us as an organisation of ensuring that our customers are as financially stable as they possibly can be.
We have a really great system of progression. They really have a fantastic opportunity to make a great salary and great benefits in a relatively short space of time after graduating. And if I think back to whenever I was in my early 20s, I really wouldn't have known what to do. The temptation is there to buy a really nice car that maybe takes up most of your income, or buy yourself a nice designer handbag every so often whenever you get your bonus. But we wanted to make sure people are being smart and maybe putting that money towards a house deposit or into savings, and making sure they're thinking about the long term. We want to make sure that our guys feel supported, they feel comfortable, they're making the right choices, and that they can be their best selves when they come into work.
It's all about feeling secure, confident and empowered with your money. Organisations like yours are making a big difference to financial well-being.
Well, we hope you found some of that information of interest, and hopefully this inspires some of you to think about the importance of having a pension in place. And in case you didn't manage to get those details, here they are again. The Money and Pensions Service website is www.moneyhelper.org.uk, or there are a couple of telephone numbers that you can contact. For money guidance, call 0800 138 7777, and for pensions guidance, call 0800 011 3797. And if you would like to catch up on anything you have seen today, then remember you can rewatch all of CTech Plus's content over on their YouTube channel. Search CTech Plus or Plus on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back on Monday the 6th of March at 1 p.m. for our National Careers Week special, so please join us then. Bye-bye for now.